rock stars? Welcome to another episode of In the Pit. I'm your host, Rick, and we're going back old school. We have a guest that is going to bring out the Gothic, and I'm telling you, we got some stories to tell. Welcome to the show, Miss Sherry from Eva Kora. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
There's different degrees of how I am. Like, am I in trouble and on the restriction? Am I in timeout? That's a typical answer is yes. I'm doing good though.
That's when you're at your best.
Oh my God. I like timeout. I don't think people understand the value of timeout.
Timeout's awesome.
You know how much creative thinking you can get done in timeout?
I know. I love timeout.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So with you being in timeout, I got to ask, as we talk about timeout, how did you do with COVID? Which, I mean, when you're like, oh, relief.
Honestly, on a serious side, I was very fortunate. I won't say fortunate because I had H1N1 a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And so during the COVID, I was around a lot of positive people and I never got it. So I'm fortunate and I'm thankful for that, but I never got it. And my whole office was positive. My whole family was positive, and I never quarantined or anything, and I just never got it. But then again, I OD'd on vitamin C. Like every day, I would take like 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I'd just be snacking, and I'd be like, I'll just snack on a vitamin C. And so my doctor was like, "What are you doing? What are you taking?" I said, "The only thing I take is vitamin C." But I'm fortunate that I didn't get it, but I really didn't quarantine.
I want to know what the symptoms are of vitamin C overdose.
I know. I was kidding about that, but I started getting to it where I would just snack on them. I would like see the bottle and I'd just be like, "Oh, an orange, yummy," so I would just snack on it. And
so it's like eating Tang.
Yeah. Yeah, like eating Tang right out.
Oh, yeah, I used to do that too. And yes, I was the kid though, we had the Flintstone vitamins.
Oh, yeah.
They were like Pez to me. So I would eat I ate so many. I'm bad. I'm just saying. Oh my Lord. So
I did that too. But I think that's why I didn't get it really is because everybody's buying toilet paper. And I'm like, why are y'all worried about wiping your ass when you're about to die? Like get some vitamin C, build up your immune system. Why are you worried about toilet paper? You can go to Party City and buy napkins.
You remember the early days then when everybody was running out and buying 5,000 rolls of toilet paper. And I'm like, did I not get the memo on this disease? Like, is there going to be is everybody going to like have the shits for, oh my God. Yeah.
I know. I was like, okay.
And you know what? It's funny because Amy and she's more of a clean freak than I'm a stupid boy. Roll me in the mud. Who cares? I don't. And we go on vacation, and she will take Clorox bleach wipes, like when we go on cruises, and she will.
Oh, yeah, I do that.
Really? Oh, so that's a female thing, not a guy thing.
No, it's a female thing, I think, because it's just a clean thing. Like I bleach the house all the time because I like clean.
We do too, but we go on cruises, and I'm like, I'm the maybe touched kid that'll lick the phone and the handle on. Yeah, I'm like, I kind of. My logic is I'm going to drink straight tequila, and so it's going to sanitize everything from the inside out. I'm good. Oh my God. I'm glad you got through COVID okay. And did you find, and you said you didn't really quarantine. I didn't really either. Both my bands still got together. We still played shows, even when I was watching other bands like, oh no, we're taking time off. I'm like, we're still going to play.
Yeah.
Same?
Yeah, and where I live, my house, we have a rehearsal room and a recording studio.
Nice.
And so the band, and we're so small, there's just 4 or 5 of us. So, we just had everybody just come over to the house and we still practice. We wrote an entire CD while we were in quarantine. So
yes.
I don't consider that quarantine. It was just work for us.
That, and it's funny because I've had some folks like, I've had Rich Redmond from Jason Aldean. I had Eric Aldenas from Billy Idol on, and they're in quarantine. They weren't touring, and I'm still getting to play shows. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I felt really lucky. And I've got friends all over the US that are musicians, and they're like, Rick, I follow you and you haven't stopped. I'm like, I'm in Texas, baby. We never, even at 25%, we were still playing shows. I mean,
Yeah, we
it's,
did too.
yeah, oh my Lord. So I am dying to hear the story, how Eva Kora came together, because again, you have that old school goth look that I absolutely love. And I want to know, dive in, tell me a little bit.
You're gonna laugh because it's kind of crazy. Um,
Let's
so
add it to the crazy pile.
at the time, I was actually doing country, and I was in a country band, and our management company was telling me like, you're really too rock to be country. I mean, you sound like Stevie Nicks when you're singing. And he's like, what would you think about putting together maybe like a typo negative ish female fronted band? And I was like, oh, I love typo negative, but can I pull that off? I mean, I'm a girl. And he was like, well, I don't want you to sing. I don't want you to use your vibrato. I don't want you singing opera. Don't do the Stevie Nicks thing. I don't want you. He didn't even want me screaming. Like, he was like, all I want you to do is do like this talk. I don't know if you ever watched True Blood. Did you watch True Blood?
Yep.
Love True Blood. Pam was my idol.
Okay.
She always had this like, oh my God.
Yep.
She had that whole sexy, and I loved her. And I was like, oh, you know what? I could like just go into character, and I could just be like Pam on stage.
Yep.
And so that's how my vocals, when I wrote all the lyrics, I started writing my vocals with her voice in mind.
Nice.
And so I was like, well, this sounds kind of cool. It's kind of typo negative ish.
Yep.
And then when the band came together, they were the ones who really made the music, and then I kind of just got to step in and do my vocals and write the lyrics. And then we were playing a show one time, and uh, Anna was in a different band, and we were watching her before we went on. And I was like, oh, wow, she's really cute. I was like, is she like 15? Because she's so cute. And then that little package. And I heard her screaming, doing those growls. And I
Cookie
was like,
Monster all the way.
going, is that coming from that little girl? And then after they went on, then we went on, and she was standing in front of me, and she was watching me, and I kept fist bumping her and stuff, and I said, stick around. And so after the show, I came up to her because a lot of people had been telling me about her, like,
Yep.
hey, the band that's playing with y'all tonight, this girl, she does these growls. So I went up to her and I was like, hey, how would you feel about being my backup singer and doing all those growls, because I can't do those,
Yeah.
and that's not my whole thing anyway. My thing was being a sexy vampire talking. But I was like, and so I called my management company, and I called my manager like that night, and I was like, hey, what would you think about us adding like a growly, cute little girl? And he was like, hey,
Do
let's
it.
try it. And so she agreed to it. I agreed to it. She and I hung out all night. We partied all night. And then the next day she called me and she's like, when's rehearsal? And so she came over. We got along great. That element that she added. She did her homework. I
Yep.
mean, she just came in, started throwing down those growls in my songs, and I was like, I freaking love it. Like, love it, love it, love it.
Because it's the dark and the darker. And it just works. I mean,
And she was kind of like, and she was kind of new at it, and she was kind of lost with kind of, what do I do on stage?
yeah.
Well, and I'll just say it right out. I was a stripper for years, so my whole dancing thing and the talking, it just kind of comes natural. I feel the music, and I just move to the music, and I'm always in the music.
Yeah.
And she was like, can you teach me stage presence? And I was like, well, it's a lot of
Yes and no.
years. It's a lot of years, of doing this. I said, you just have to learn to feel the music, and
Yeah.
not worry so much about your growls, because you've got that down.
Yeah.
So you just do you, and I'll do me, and let's just, because different people are attracted to different things.
Absolutely.
There's a whole lot of people that are attracted to that aspect. And then there's a lot of guys that are attracted to, and it's funny. We were doing the statistics one day, and I have like 80% female following.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
And And so we were laughing about that. I was like, I think more chicks are into me than dudes. You know, what's going on? Like, what the hell? You know, but I'm cool with that. You know,
Do you
I
know what
love
it
it.
is? You know what it is? It's because guys are intimidated by beautiful women because there's an insecurity that guys have. So they're like, ooh, I can't go talk to her. Women are completely comfortable. They're like, oh, you're so beautiful. And they'll come up and they'll yap with you all night long. That's the real truth is guys are just,
That's a really funny thing that you said that because at one time I was a bodybuilder and I was dancing. And I noticed that my money went from like making 2 grand a night. Then I started making like 1,000. Then it was like 500. And I was like, what the hell am I doing different? And I actually asked one of my old customers who was then seeing another girl at the club. And I said, how come you don't, hang out with me anymore? And he goes, you're unapproachable now.
ah,
And I was like, because I bodybuild? And he goes, I have a beer gut. Last thing I want to do is see a girl that's over here with muscles bigger than mine dancing. So
that's,
immediately I stopped the bodybuilding. I was like, I'm done. And my money went right back up. It's like,
and
it was
it's
crazy.
sad because I've talked to a lot of women and again, very beautiful women. And they're like, yeah, I can't find a guy. Like, stop, time out. Why? Because they're scared. Like boys can put on a nice, tough, front, but yeah, we're wusses, whatever. You know what I mean? But going back to teaching stage presence, that is something, yeah, you can teach it, but it's experience and time that really gives you that comfortability. Is that a word or did I make that on stage? Like that comfortable with yourself. And
Well,
it's,
and now that she's, I told her, I said, do what feels good
yeah,
to you. Get your foot on that monitor and control the stage. You control that audience, just
bingo.
be you and be that hardcore girl and let me do me. We don't have to do the same thing, and so
Absolutely. Amen.
now that we're both opposites, it's just clicking,
It works.
and it's working.
And that's funny because there's a lot of really talented musicians out there, but they get on stage and they can play, but they're scared to
Hmm.
let go and be an entertainer. And I tell all my guys, I'm like, guys, let's be real honest here. The fact that we're musicians, that's like an afterthought. We are actors. When we get on stage,
Exactly.
this is theater. If we're doing, and I'm in a Green Day tribute and a Billy Idol tribute, when we get on stage, we are acting, we are putting
Right.
on a performance. So
Right.
you got to leave yourself over there off stage. Because when you get up here, if you're embarrassed, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. You don't have to be the
Yeah, you're
best at
right.
what you do, but you better entertain people because,
Right.
and I've got one of my guitarists and he's my brother-in-law. He comes out and he rocks out with me all the time. And he's a great guitarist, great rhythm guitarist. He's got great stage presence, but he rocks out to me. And I'm like, dude, I don't need you to
Turn
entertain me.
around.
Entertain them, not me. I'm here to entertain them. And again, I've seen the video. She actually does. She puts on that show and
Yeah.
for a little package, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, Cookie Monster all the way. And I'm like,
She's
how does
grown
she?
so much in the last year, like she's just at first she was kind of like just kind of sitting back and she'd just be kind of like timid. And now she's found her place. I feel like she's found her spot now and she's controlling it. And
Yes,
and I love that. I love that about her. Plus I love her as an individual because, I love people anyway. But I really love her as a person, and I love what she's doing. Love what she added to the band. As far as the band goes, we we struggled in the beginning because we were just trying to find that sound that they were looking for. And then we just decided, you know what, fuck it, let's just do what we do. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. So we just kind of started doing what we wanted, and we're a very theatrical band. I'm an actor. I
I
mean,
love
I
it.
love to act.
Yep,
And so when I'm doing all my songs, I'm acting, I'm feeling every one of those songs. And I just act them out, and I just try to be that character. And so, my advice to a lot of musicians out there would be do you,
yes,
be you, stop
yes.
trying to be somebody else unless you are in a tribute band, and if you're in a tribute band, then yeah, be that person,
Wait,
you
even if you're
know?
in a tribute band, still you're bring part of yourself to it. Like
Right.
there's different levels of tribute bands, and again, some people are hardcore. We're wearing the wigs, where you're looking like that, like the
Right.
band. And on my tribute band, Basket Case, I am more like we are celebrating the music of dress the part, but I'm not asking you to wear wigs. Like, bring some of yourself to it. We are celebrating this band. But the fact that you're actors, that you guys get it, which is amen. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do you. And
That's right.
don't stress on it. And as an entertainer, do you find yourself not just on stage, but when you go out, still dressing up?
Yeah.
Is it still like, okay, I've got to wear an outfit? Like, what I'm still
Yeah.
on.
And that's where, when we went to NAMM, I took 3 luggages with me, which was retarded. So I had all this shit, and my husband was like, "Do you really need 3 fucking luggage? We're gonna be there a week." And I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
1 luggage is for my shoes because I have no idea what I'm gonna wear with what. 1 is for my going out stuff, like sweats and shorts around town, like just during the day. But at night, I got to be dressed up. I don't know who I'm going to run into or who I'm going to talk to, and I've got to be representing my band."
Bingo.
And
Bingo.
and one guy, actually, he was the owner, and I won't say it out loud, but he was the owner of a record label.
Okay.
And I met him at the Whiskey.
Nice.
And then he gave me his card. I gave him my card, and then I immediately messaged him when I got back to Texas. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember you, cute brunette with the short shorts up to your ass." I'm like, "Bingo, I did it. I got your attention." Because
Love it.
I did. I went out with shorts up to my ass, 5-inch heels, black, of course. But that's how I went to the Whiskey. We had a lot of friends that were playing out there every night. We saw
Yep.
Quiet Riot, we saw Buck Cherry.
Nice.
We were upstairs VIP with everyone, and we
okay.
have a
I hate you all of a sudden, right? Because Buck Cherry's, one of my favorite bands. Johnny, the drummer, Kelly from Quiet Riot has been on the show. And he just up the street in Denton, right? He lives local. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. Like, you got to go, and
Rudy's
Whiskey.
a really good friend of mine. I've known Rudy for years.
Awesome. And you know what? The Whiskey's awesome. I got to ask, did you go next door to grab some food over at the Rainbow?
No, we never had time. I mean, literally, we hit the ground running. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we landed, we threw our shit in the hotel.
Uh-huh.
I unpacked, of course, because I'm OCD. So I unpacked, put all my clothes together, put all my shoes up, and I'm like, "You ready?" And he was like, "Oh my God." So we took off every single day. We got up, we went the whole day. We went to NAMM 3 days. And then every night somebody was playing at the Whiskey because, they really catered to the NAMM crowd.
I almost went this year, and you know what? I've never been to NAMM. And everyone's like, "Rick, how have you never been to NAMM?" The way life has, it seems like there's always something that comes up. I was going to go with Paul from ZZ Tex and all his other band. And he had actually asked me to come out. He had a pass for me, and I couldn't make it happen. I'm like, this was going to be the year I was going to go out to NAMM.
I'm not going to lie. I do go to NAMM, and this was my second time. I went year before last. They didn't have it last year. It was a mini NAMM, I feel like.
Really?
A lot of the bands are out on tour.
Yep.
So a lot of musicians couldn't be there.
Yep.
Fender wasn't there.
Oh, wow.
They had some guitar people out there, but Fender wasn't there. So a lot of guitar players, like at the very end, right before NAMM, they decided not to go.
Oh, man.
But there was still a lot of there was still a lot of badass people out there, a lot of good stuff. But it was just it wasn't as good as it was the last NAMM. It wasn't as big. There wasn't as many people there. But I feel like the Whiskey kind of made up for it, and like all the hotels were having badass after parties.
Nice.
So, you're either going to a hotel or you're going to the Whiskey, or it was just, and you're at NAMM all day walking around. So I'm still raspy. Like I don't know if you can tell or not, but I sound like a truck driver today. I literally, at every show I'm screaming, I'm front row, like, yeah, screaming. So, I can't talk for the last 4 days. I've been like trying to nurse myself back.
That's funny you say that, because after like Mondays and Tuesdays from the weekend, my voice is typically like
always raspy.
And it's like I nurse it back so that we can go do it again, every weekend. And I'm just like, again, man, you got the after parties. I think NAMM, from what I hear, is great, but everybody says the same thing. It's like going to the Whiskey, and you're going maybe to the Troubadour, or oh God, I don't even know if the Dragonfly is still there. I played LA. I got to play the Troubadour. I'm very stoked. Never got to play the Whiskey, which that's okay. It's okay. There may be still hope for
It
me.
is fun out there. I mean, the Whiskey, we went there because one of our friends, I don't know, do you know Holly West?
Oh, I'm friends with her. Yes.
Yeah. So Holly's one of our, she was actually Rico's first, they were in a band together. It was her first gig. She was with Rico. He was the drummer of that band with Nikki. And
Nice.
so we kept in contact with her every day. Like, we can't wait to see you, can't wait to get there. So then when we got there, we hung out with her and her boyfriend.
Nice.
Her boyfriend Fred is he plays with the Bullet Boys. He's in a couple of he played the Whiskey 3 nights this week with different bands.
Wow.
So he's really busy. She's really busy.
Yeah.
And they did the Ultimate Jam. There was all kinds of people that got up. Megadeth. Everybody was playing.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
mean, it was so much fun out there. They had Prince tribute bands. They had just so much stuff. It's just so much. So
Yeah.
it's just
That
a
is
lot to take in.
so. As an original artist, and oh my God, if you don't want to answer this question, just shut me down, and I will not be offended. But as an original artist, what do you think of the whole tribute thing?
I like it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I do. It's not something that I see myself doing, like, yeah, maybe a Stevie Nicks tribute band, maybe something like that. But no, I don't really know if I am cut out for that because I kind of have my own unique style.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how good I would actually be at that. But I'm telling you, the tribute bands are making money. They're making a lot of money out there. A lot of the tribute bands are really doing good. They're making
Yeah.
money. So I'm one of those kind of people that whatever's making money, whatever the people are into, I'm into. So I'm cool with it. But
As
there's a
a
lot of tribute bands out there right now.
as a guy who started out as a drummer in 1990 in the Seattle scene, and I've told everyone about it, growing up and basically cutting my teeth in the whole grunge era, being a pop punk drummer, now I was a goth drummer. Let me tell you guys, if you find video of me, my early days, I barely knew how to hold the sticks, and yet I was on a record label, and it's like, oh my God, yeah, completely different. But being a pop punk guy, it's been the last 5-6 years that I dove into the cover tribute thing, and yet there's still, because all I knew was original. There's that craving to write music. You hear a beat, you hear phrases, you're like, well, what if we put that together? But then it's not just can we write, and this is there's a point to this. Can I find somebody that has good lyrics? Because a lot of bands, original bands, will complain. And I talked about this with Chuck from Kill 'Em All recently. Chucky was on, and if you're an original band, be different. Don't do the exact same thing that everyone else is doing. And if you can't get people to come out, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? Is my music not good? Am I not marketing? And that's one of the things we talked about off camera. I'm like, I've begged original bands forever. Like, please come on the show, hang out with me. Let's talk. You said, I will take any opportunity I can to promote my product, because these are businesses. 100%. This is a business. So I always ask, like, are you looking at your business? Are you analyzing your business and going, what's right? What's wrong? Can we make some, you know what I mean? And I'm assuming you're savvy enough, because I've stalked you guys for a while. You guys, you're making adjustments. You guys you're doing something that's different than everyone else. Right. I mean, you say, just do your thing. How often do you guys sit down and have band like business meetings and go, hey, we got to tweak some things here?
We do it through chat, but
nice.
we do that quite a bit. We have our band chat, and it's always lit up. Like, we're always talking, like, what are y'all doing this weekend? Or like, hey, did you think that song sounded kind of shitty? I thought this sounded kind of shitty. Like, but that's a good thing about is that we're all adults. And
nice.
So, like, if we have something, like, if I'm doing something wrong, like, I'll tell them, like, hey, if this doesn't sound good, tell me. Don't let me make an idiot out of myself. Don't be scared to tell me that this doesn't sound good.
Oh, thank you.
And so, and we do that. We do that with each other. The thing that, the thing that I really like about the band is when we started out, our theme was Halloween every night. And we were like, just go with Halloween. And so Kelly, our bass player, I love the fact that Kelly wears that mask. It's a female mask, but that's his character. He wants to be a character, um, like Twiggy, like with the dresses and stuff
Yes.
like that. And I feel like he got a lot of his influences from Twiggy because, he likes to do that and he likes to be in masks where when he takes his mask off, people don't even know that's who that bass player was. So
Okay.
that's his thing. It's cool. Works for him. Um, Rico likes that mirrored thing. Like he likes to be that black mirrored thing. I say he's more futuristic type. That's his kind of character.
You
Like
knew
he
I was
goes
going to
on.
ask that question too, didn't you? About the costumes. You knew I was going to ask that.
Yeah, that's why I said it first.
I love it. In the fact that, and I think I told you a little bit about my first band. We were kind of that S&M attire, cramps, and the guys would wear drag. And the fact that he wears a dress, hello, there's no, toxic masculinity. Like I've got to dress like a dude. Like I'm getting on stage, I'm putting on a costume, and this is my uniform, so to speak, to get on stage. I love the fact that was another thing that I'm telling you I admire about y'all is the stage attire.
We're just doing what we want. And like for instance, with Rico, he's always been, he's been in a lot of bands. I mean, at one time, I've known him for I don't know how many, probably 30 years. We were best friends.
Nice.
And so I've seen him through all his bands, and he's been in a whole lot of bands. But he's always kept that, like that dark black, wearing black, the
Yeah.
black hair, black. But the fact that he wanted to do the whole broken mirror
Love it.
mask, I loved that idea. I thought
Oh,
that was
absolutely.
really, really, really cool. And so now we have Taylor Dennis, and
Yep.
I don't know if you remember, but I mean, I'm a little bit older, so I've known Taylor since he was like 15. And I
Not
remember
older
the
than me.
first time I saw Taylor um, on on social media. I saw Taylor wearing like eyeliner and lip gloss and everything, and I was like, oh
Oh,
my God, that's little baby Taylor, but he's not baby Taylor anymore. Like he's a grown adult now with a child of his own. And so when we got him in the band, he doesn't really know exactly. He's kind of a mixture of characters. He's not really for sure exactly which character he wants to go with yet. He's still kind of trying to figure out, the stuff that he really likes. And like we told him, just go for it. Be you. Do whatever character it is, we're cool with it. Just do you. And so, and then our keyboard player, we lost our original keyboard player, and so we've been kind of moving back into our roommate plays keyboards, and she's learning everything now, and so you'll be seeing a new keyboard player soon. She's just learning all the material and stuff, so you'll be seeing a whole new character added to the band.
I'm going to enjoy watching the metamorphosis, and every band does of image, costumes. It's going to be fun to watch. I will at some point have to ask your husband, like, how do you play in a mask? Because I'm
I don't
dripping
know
wet.
how he does it because I'm telling you, in the beginning, I wore a mask.
Uh-huh.
And like I mean, like one show, literally one show. And I was like, fuck this mask. I can't do it. Like, I mean, I'm claustrophobic as it is. And, I was trying to, I had to hold this part out of it, but all this was covered.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to sing, but I could feel that, I don't know if you've ever had it or not, but like, I don't care how many years you've been in a band, you still get a little bit of anxiety right before you go on stage. It's just, that's what I do. I get a tiny bit of anxiety right before I go on. I'm pumped up, but at that same time, I'm like, I hope I don't trip. I hope I don't do this. I won't fall off the stage. I'm always thinking in my head, like, what if I forget my own lyrics? Like, I'm thinking all the time. And so I don't personally, I can't, I don't know how he does it with the mask because I would literally lose my shit. I couldn't breathe and play. And he plays so hard and so fast. And he's got to be dying under there. It just
That's
gotta
why
be
I
so
like him,
hot.
because I'm a pop punk drummer and everyone's like, God, you beat the snot out of a drum set. I do. And he hits hard. He plays fast. And I'm like, but he wears a mask. He's got one up on me. I would die. I mean, right now my eyes burn because I wear a heavy black eyeliner, and you know, I look like a coke whore or a heroin junkie at the end of the night because my eyes are just bleeding dead.
I do too. I mean, when I get off stage, sometimes that's the first thing I do. I run to the bathroom because I know everybody's going to want to take pictures with me. I automatically run to the bathroom because I've literally got two black eyes. Like it's just running. The eyeliner is running. No matter how many waterproof eyeliners, there's
Doesn't
not
work.
none.
Doesn't
There's
work.
not.
And I tell people I'm not fixing any of it. If you want to take pictures with me after a show and you get the heroin junkie look, you just got, you know what? That was earned. I earned that with 90 minutes, 120 minutes of pounding the crap out of a drum set. This is what you get.
You know,
Catch me before.
That's something that I probably learned from this show today. Maybe I should do more of that instead of worrying about what I look like after I get off stage.
If you want pretty me, you better catch me before I play drums, because when I get done and everybody's like, oh my God, you're soaking wet. And I'm like, you know what? When I get off stage, I'm probably going to lose the vest. So I'm going to be shirtless. Yes, I'm going to look like a junkie. My fingernails are going to be probably all chewed up. I'm probably going to have blood on my hands because I'm an idiot. And you get what you get.
If you're going to hug a drummer when he gets off stage, don't be like, oh my God, you're wet.
Hello. You know what you're getting into. And I warn people, I'm like,
hugging a sweaty drummer.
I'm moist if you hug me. And then they're like, oh, I'm like, what part of I'm moist? I just played for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Did you not understand?
Exactly. and they don't get that too, because even girls sweat too. I mean, come on, it's reality.
Yes.
And when you're under those lights right in your face, and I've got long hair and it's thick.
You're dying.
So, always underneath the back of my neck, my hair's wet and it's all stringy when I get off stage, and everybody wants to come up and hug me. And I'm like, I'm kind of like, stop. Like and so you're right. Maybe I should just like let them, like, hey, what you're getting. Like,
thank you. This is what you get. I'm going to tell you.
We try to get pictures with everybody in the crowd and everything after the show, because what we really want to do with this band is we want to communicate with our band. I mean, with our fans. We want to be friends with them. We want to talk to them. We want them to feel like they're part of our show. And we opened up for Wednesday at Amplified.
Uh-huh.
And I got to tell you, that was the first time that I've ever played for a sold out crowd.
Nice.
And it was so cool because, I thought everybody was there just to see them, and like we're the opening act. So, but when I held my microphone out and people were singing the lyrics back to our songs, that was the most ultimate feeling that you can get, is when they're singing your lyrics. And it was as far back as you can see of people. Like, I mean, there was no end to the crowd. It was just all the way back to the back of the room. And our last song, it's an anthem song, and because we want the last thing that people to think when they leave was, what was the name of that band? Oh yeah, Eva Kora, because we have a song called Anthem, and we go EVA, Eva Kora, and then we keep on doing that, and then we'll be like EVA, and when I hold my mic out and everybody's singing Eva Kora, we know when they leave, they're like, oh yeah, the name of that band was Eva Kora, So when you hold that microphone out, and all the people on the front row, when you look down and everybody on the front row is going Eva Kora, Eva Kora, Eva Kora, you're just like so excited. You're like, yes, they get it.
That is why you do it. There's not a drug that can touch the adrenaline rush of the crowd band interaction. Hands down, that, especially when it's a sold out crowd, it's packed. There is not a better drug on the planet. That's why we as musicians get on stage, because when the crowd goes bat crap crazy, hello, life is good.
When everybody's trying to fist bump you, and they're asking for your autograph, and they're like, sign this whenever you're done. There is no adrenaline like that. I mean,
nope.
you're just pumped, and you're like, okay, we are doing something right. You're like, they like this.
When people are fighting to get your drumsticks, as a drummer, I'm flattered. Like, oh my God, you want my drumsticks? Really? Trust me, it's, I only have so many I could give out, but I'm always just like, thank you. Like, it meant that much to you. Sure. Especially the little kids. I will go out of my way to give a little one a stick, because he could be the next generation. And again, I'm an old guy. I'm 52, and I'm still hoping to get another 10 plus years out of this shell, and at this level. But that is why we do it. Like, I don't.
The thing that I love about our band too is that I'm the only one, I think, in our band that doesn't teach. Rico is a drum instructor. Our keyboard player, she teaches violin, piano, keyboard. She's an instructor. Taylor was a guitar
Yep.
instructor. He's not doing it now because he's playing in so many bands. He doesn't have time. Tiana taught vocals for a little bit. I think she's just overwhelmed right now because she's in more than one band. And, Taylor and Kiana have a baby. So
yes,
they're trying to, parent, they're trying to work, they're keeping these bands going. I mean, they're busting there, but they're kids. They can do it.
And I've got to ask, how is she doing? I know I watch social media. She had a car accident recently. Is she doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing great.
Good.
She's doing great. She just, she had a couple of things hit her, one after the other.
Yeah.
And but she's recovered really well. She's doing really well. She's back into her music, and her music is what healed her. Kept her going. Was just keep it on going. And I kept telling her, don't pay attention to social media. You're going to have haters out there. Anytime you're doing something good, that's when people are going to talk shit about you.
Can I tell you?
It doesn't matter what they say. As long as they're talking about you, they're talking about you.
That is the gospel. People doing this show has been a blessing, but it's also had its downside. People can be mean and they think that you're invulnerable, but you're not. I mean, some of the things people say, they hurt. And it's not just the things they say, it's the things they do. And you're like, really? So no, music is the healing source. If she dives into her music, amen. And I'm telling you.
We had a guy one time that came to our show, and he was like, oh my God, you're so hot. The whole guy thing.
Yep.
I can't believe you wear a thong on stage. And then I hear him, and he's over here talking to another crowd, and he's like, why does she feel the need to do that on stage? It's like, he's complimenting me, telling me how bad he, wants to, me. And then he's over here telling somebody else, why does she feel like she needs to do that? Because I fucking want to.
Thank you. Because I want to. Because it makes me feel good. Oh, my Lord.
And I can relive, and I feel like, I used to sing opera. I was an opera singer. And then I was kind of, it's a long story, so I won't go into that. But I was in an abusive relationship, and I got my larynx crushed. And so it took me a long time to get my vocals back. I mean, I can sing opera today, not as good as I could before, but it took me a long time. And so, when I was in the country band, it also busted my eardrum at that same incident.
Yeah.
And so, so sometimes, I will go off key. We were on Good Day Dallas, and the girl hated me. For some reason, the girl her name was Jenny or something. I don't know what her name was. But anyway, the minute we got there at 5 a.m., she hated me. It's when we were doing the country thing.
Yeah.
And so she said, okay, you guys are going to have 2 or 3 takes, and then we'll be ready to shoot you live. And so I was still warming up my vocals. It's 5 a.m. It's in the middle of the fucking night for me. And so I'm sitting there trying to warm up. And so we were like, okay, let's go. Let's run through the song one time. Let's all go run through the song. Everybody run through it. She freaking filmed that and put that on TV. And I was off key. I wasn't warmed up. I had nothing to drink. It was 5 a.m. My voice was dry. And she put that on Good Day Dallas. And I was like, why would she do that? So I even talked to the producer, and he was like, well, that was your take. And I said, we were supposed to have warm-ups. That was our warm-up. We weren't even ready. And so I was really pissed off about that, because after that, I had a bunch of negative comments like, she can't sing. She sounds like crap. Well, of course I sound like crap. It's 5 a.m. I just woke up. I've been asleep 2 hours, and I just woke up. But, now, and that's another reason why I really like the singing that I'm doing, is because I don't have to focus on my vocals. I can just be sexy, do what I want, dance. and I'm still kind of reliving my dance days through my music now. So I can still dance, I can still sing, and and I'm having to work on my vocals a lot because it takes a long time to recover from something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh my Lord. You know what? We're out of time. Will you come back and do this again?
Absolutely.
Would you maybe do it in person and bring your husband? I love drummers. Bring him along.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we live together, so
Yeah, I'm sure that you could put a good word in, like, hey, you need to go hang out with Rick. I'm actually going to
he's
stock your
actually
whole
giving
band.
drum lessons today. So
I'm going to stock your whole band. I want to get everybody on. I've bugged Taylor forever, and yes, he's in a million bands. Like, oh my Lord.
he's so busy.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
He can barely make rehearsals because he's playing so much.
Oh my Lord. Thank you so much for making time and yapping with me. I look forward to doing this again for sure.
It was definitely fun, and I definitely want to do it again.
We'll do it again next time, but we'll do it in person. Fair?
Right. Sounds good.
Awesome. And for those of you that are tuning in the first time, thank you so much. You can like us on Facebook. If Facebook's not your thing, you can get us on iHeart. You can get us on Spotify. You can get us on YouTube. We have an Instagram and a Twitter account, which is supposed to take care of. I'm so at it. We also have a Roku channel, and we have an Amazon Fire channel. So you can catch us multiple places. You can go download our app, In the Pit with Rick. You can catch the show there. You can also use the calendar to see what's going on around town. For those of you that are not here in North Texas, watching us from England, South America, Australia, yes, we have a great music scene here in North Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth. So if you're in town, come check it out. Look, use the app, come find a band. You never know. A lot of times people go out and they're like, oh my God, you're out in the scene? Yeah, I'm in a band. I play and I like live local music. So come check us out. So again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being my guest, Miss Sherry. It was awesome. We'll have you on again. This has been Sherry. I am Rick, and we will catch you somewhere in the pit.
Keep rocking.